Well, my first competitive year would have been 1980, and we joined the Northumberland Kart Club. And I can remember going up there with my dad, and there's a little hut in the middle of this deserted airfield where the circuit was. And obviously we signed up for the club championships. And one of the things you had to do when you registered was pick a number. And I can remember, God, this is a long time ago, but I can remember it, when the guy said, right, what number do you want for the year? And number 1 wasn't taken. I said, well, I'll have number 1. He said, no, you can't have that because that's the last year's champion. I went, okay. So I looked down the list, and the next one that was available was 6. And that ended up being, kind of my karting number, if you like. But, within a very short space of time, we were winning races. We won the club championships that year. We got involved with the British championships, nearly won the British in our first year. It was evident from a very early stage in karting that not so much winning races, but the attitude of mum and dad, me, that we didn't, whilst karting is a social thing and it's something nice to do on the weekend, we went to win. And I've never been a good loser. I hate losing. I'm a bad loser, and I don't subscribe all the way through school, whether it be playing football or rugby or whatever it may be. This all win nice, lose well, and I don't agree. It's lose or nothing, or win or nothing.
When did you start winning?
Hello, boy. You want to get in on the act, do you? Sit. Where's he gone? It's very, very, very fortunate that I was exposed to something which really rocked my boat. Not just me personally, but also my mum and dad. We loved our karting, and we loved our motorsport. So very lucky from that perspective that I was given an opportunity and found something which I love to do, and actually we all love to do. And then of course it makes making sacrifices all the easier, because it's just what we want to do. We'd rather go and camp out at a track called Rowra in the middle of a quarry in Cumbria in the lashing rain than go on a summer holiday to Spain. That would be our chosen thing we'd want to do. And once you get to that feeling, it's great. It all makes sense. And but yeah, the win. I won my first championship in my first year, and then we won the British Championships a year after, and then we won a major European race in Germany in '83. It was a championship actually. It was just what we wanted to do. So very lucky to be able to have found at the age of 12, a target and a pastime and something which, I love to do. Oh, he's lost that. Did you see him jump like a gazelle, hasn't he? Where's he gone? Where's he gone? Where's he gone? In there. You can find it. Yeah, he's a god. Some amazing rivals actually. Race with Schumacher, race with Hakkinen, race with lots of the Coulthard, lots of those sorts of guys, and when in the UK there was me plus about 2 or 3 others who were always at the top of the tree, and of course in Europe there was Schumacher, there was Zanardi, there was lots of these characters. I had the same engines and carburetors and tyres as Michael, The only thing which was different was the chassis, but the chassis I was on was as good as his and vice versa. So there was no excuse really. There was no, well. And I'll tell you, on his day, he was unbeatable. There was just something he did in a kart which was a little bit different, and it was just a couple of tenths of a second. No one could get near Michael. And he didn't have many of those days, and as he got older, he had more and more of those days, and it became every day was like that day. But he was probably, out of all the people I've raced against, the standout one, where you go, Christ almighty, he's quick. And also had an aura even about him then. Yeah. There was something about him where, I can remember racing at the Race of Champions a few years ago in Wembley, and I'd not spent any time with Michael for a long time. And occasionally you'd see him at some awards thing, and you'd, hi, how are you, and have a quick little 5 second, 10 second hello. But spent a bit of time with him at the Race of Champions for a few years actually. And there's something very, very special about that human being. He has something really quite amazing. You can feel him in a room even though you've not seen him. It's uncanny actually. It's very, very spooky. We could all be having a chat here and he would creep in the room 100 yards away and you would feel the atmosphere change in the room. Amazing. So out of all the people that I race against, he was the one where you go, Jesus Christ, how on earth are we going to beat this bloke? Good boy! At the early 90s, there was quite a hubbub about, me in single seaters. And then it quickly all kind of ended because I'd run out of cash. And I went through this wilderness period of 93, did a bit of Vauxhall Lotus, which was a sidestep, that didn't really work out. 94 was test driver for the Nissan BTCC team. Was looking like Eric van der Poel was leaving at the end of 94. Maybe 95 might be a chance. That all went pear-shaped, Nissan pulled out. Working at racing schools, getting a bit bitter and twisted, watching people with cash crack on. And Renault got back in contact and said, look, we're doing this Renault Spider series in 96. Do you want to do it? And my initial reaction was, don't be stupid, that's one make series, you're having a laugh. Anyway, they put some manners on me and explained that actually the winner of this gets a test at Williams for BTCC. I think you should, anyway, we put everything into it and won the championship, won nearly every race, I think. And that was the springboard I needed. And had that not happened, it would have all stopped because I was almost at the end of, at the end of it all in terms of me thinking, Jesus, what have you got to do? Because I didn't have a bag of gold. And the bag of gold you need is as big as his house. You need massive money to crack on. And that was really the first time I thought, well, actually, the single six-seater dream is gone. Forget that. Let's think of something else, and let's really look hard at British touring cars. Going back to the Spider thing, I won the championship, and then I got a test with Williams as a prize drive, and did the test at Silverstone. Did a good job. Was quick. Didn't break the car. Did all the nice things. It was an ace day, great day. Went in to see Frank, and met Frank, met Patrick, had the test, patted on the back, and then I reckon about 2-3 weeks after that test, I get a letter from Frank saying, I still got it now actually, a letter saying that thanks, you did a great job on the test, it was really nice to meet you. Unfortunately, there isn't a drive for next year. You haven't got enough profile. We're probably going to go for an ex-Formula 1 driver. Basically, there's nothing you could have done to get the drive. Don't feel bad. Right good kick in the nuts. And you know, the point I'd arrived there where I'd done the spider thing, I'd won that. There was nowhere to go. I didn't have a bag of gold. And I kind of went into a bit of a deep depression and decided, I've had enough of this is stupid. And just, you know, probably drank a bit too much the last, you know, the couple of weeks after that, and just got myself in a bit of a tears. And then woke up one morning, absolutely full of hell. In Northampton I was. And thought, I'm not having this. So I jumped in my car and I went down to see Frank, to Doorstepping. And I got to Williams at 9 o'clock or something, in a suit, with the briefcase empty. What was all that about? And waited for about 3 hours, I think. And then Frank's car came in. I must have smoked a packet of cigs in that 3 hours. Stuffed a load of mints in my mouth, picked up my briefcase and run after the car and park in a little bay right outside the doors. But of course now I'm not far away from the car, maybe 10 metres or something, in a full-blown running after it and looking at Frank in the passenger seat. and of course he knew. Security had seen me there, I'm sure. Anyway, eventually, you know, I just tried to as coolly and as less nervous as I could go from a full-blown sprint to a walk. And I ended up at the passenger side of the car. But of course, I'd forgotten his stupid frenzy that I got to lift him out the car. So that's awkward, and I'm just thinking, what am I doing? So anyway, I kind of, but as his nurse got out the car, on the driver's side, he kind of looked at me in a way which I got the feeling that, we know you're here, it's all right. Because you could see the panic or whatever it was on my face. Because at that point, Frank was the most important man next, apart from Bernie, he's the most important man in motorsport. And there I am trying to doorstep the bugger. They got him out of the car, got him in his chair, and, I just begged and pleaded for 5 minutes of his time. And he said no at first, and I begged and begged and begged and said, come on, Frank, please. And eventually he said yes. Off we went, down to Frank's office. I waited outside for an hour. He kept me outside. It was a tough hour, that. Thinking, what am I doing? What am I going to say? And I didn't want to rehearse. I didn't want a script. I just wanted to put my heart and soul on the table and say, look. Anyway, that's what happened. I got called in. Hi Jason, what can I do for you? Kind of thing. And I just begged and pleaded and said, look, give me a chance. Don't just go for one of these failed F1 drivers. It's not really a big step for them. They're on the way down. They're doing it because there's a bit of cash in it. This is a huge thing for me. Give me a break. I've got great ties with Renault, blah, blah, blah. The big pitch. He didn't let anything out of the bag. He just said, look, thanks for your time. And off I went. I was with him for about 10 minutes. Anyway, I get a call at the end of the week, on the Friday, from Frank's office, saying, look, we've got a test next week at Snetterton. It's yourself, Morbidelli and Bouillon. You're both going to get the same time in the car. You're going to get the same amount of tyres. Fastest man gets a job. Rest is history.
We join Plato with menus trying to go past Thompson. He does so, and Plato hits him. Plato hits Thompson really, really hard, and that will have done the whole.
It's as tough at the top as it's ever been in touring cars at the minute. And I know that more than most. I've only won 2. I should have probably won 5 actually. But had I not, I've won 92 races. If I wasn't, if I was the bloke that was needed to win 5, I wouldn't have had 92 wins. So a bit too aggressive sometimes. Don't think of a long game. But yeah, it's a very competitive year this year. Very competitive year.
So can he do it? Can he make history here? Tom Chilton with Jason Plato breathing down his neck as he has been throughout this race. There's the left-hander coming up at Sterling's. Sometimes you'll see a move attempted there. There's one more corner to go, and Chilton just runs onto the curb a little bit. He's going to have to defend and coming down towards clearways. He knows Plato will launch an attack if at all possible, but Chilton's quick into clearways. Now he's getting on the power. Plato's come out of clearways. Well, it's going to be a dead heat finish. Who's going to get it? Plato's on the inside. Jason Plato is just going to grab it on the line.
I've got the record for the most race wins, the most pole positions, the most podiums, the most fastest laps. the all-time record. The racing is what sexes me up. It's the overtaking, it's creating opportunities, it's the engineering, all those sorts of things. With sorts of questions like that, there's only one place it heads in my mind, is that I honestly believe I'm the best in every element. The only thing I'm probably not the best is the percentage man. I'm not very good at settling for third, when actually third or having a shunt whilst going for the lead, points for third, actually the long game is the better way. But that's just not me. That's why I haven't won more championships, but that's why I've won 92 races, and why I've got the best strike rate of all. Well, biggest rivals. There's been loads, but I guess the one, because it's been a consistent part of my touring car career and has got so many column inches, is my rival with Matt Neal. But personally, who I think have been biggest rivals in terms of the level I have to be to beat them, would be. In my very early years, was Menu. He was the best touring car driver in the world in the late 90s. And it was great to have him as a teammate because he was the best. But, and the list goes on. Ivan Muller, a fantastic rival of mine. Got utmost respect for him as a driver, less so as a human being. But I'm sure if you asked him the same question, he would say exactly the same thing. Amusingly, now we actually get on great because we've had a couple of beers and bared all and apologised for the shit things we did to each other. But that's what happens in competitive sport. Fabrizio Giovanardi, someone I respect enormously as a driver. Jimmy Thompson, Rickard Rydell. There's been so many greats. And if I'm honest, I don't put Matt in that category as a driver. I think Matt's had, in all the years he's won, he's had the best kit by a long way. For me, the sign of a truly great driver is how you are with all the teams you've driven in. And Matt's only been successful with his dad's team. When he's raced against world-class drivers in other teams, he's looked pretty average. So, but in terms of the public, my angst, call it what you want, my aggro with Mr. Neal is will go down as stuff of touring car legend, I'm sure.
Matt Neal's going to have trying around the outside, it's too risky, so Plato defends the inside. Can Matt get a better exit? He's on the outside, this could be contact at the bottom hole. It's not a good place to have contact.
Oh, Matt Neal sideways, championship leader in big trouble, sideways, he gets it back again. It's Plato and Matt Neal, side by side, knocking into each other.
It's not over yet, Matt won't like that, his car's quick round here, now he's on the back.
Part of my persona is strategy. It's brand strategy. I like the role of the villain. I think there's more column inches and there's more money to be made being the villain, and I play up to it. It's not a lot of it is kind of a bit pantomime, but there's an element of truth in there. And often what people who sit on the sidelines looking in don't understand is this is my business, this is my job, this is how I go, this is how I pay my bills, or one of the ways I pay my bills. But it's my career, and actually, you do things in your work life, which everybody thinks it's a sport. It's a business. Motorsport's always been a business, and you do things. You create a profile and a brand, because commercially that's the right and the sound thing to do. One of the problems, the things I struggle with is, this scenario. This scenario would be 6 laps left, I'm in a safe third. Do I settle for that then, or do I keep pushing for the win? And I keep pushing. If there's 2 laps to go and I'm in a safe third, and you look at the options and you go, actually I'm never going to catch him, then I'll settle. But until it becomes impossible, that's the only time I'll concede. When it's impossible to improve where I am now. So, but you know, if it's on, and I'll have a go, and I can't stop myself. I can't stop myself, because that's what gets me. That's what turns me on. You know, it's the competitiveness, it's the winning. In many ways, I think if I was a little bit more the other way, then. But what gives you joy? Winning races gives you joy. You know, if I could win a championship by coming second every single race, would that sex me up? No, it wouldn't. You know, if I could come second championship and have a bit of bad luck, but I've won loads of races on the day, oh yeah, that's what it's about. It's about winning races. It's probably there's a wire missing somewhere in my makeup, and that's probably a fault actually. 2 young girls which are growing up, you know, an amazing wife to look after, and at some point in the future, I'm going to have to be less selfish than I am, and start putting them ahead. But I still see probably another 10 years worth of deep down set selfishness in me. I mean, I'm saying that with fun, but it is a selfish game. You know, you've got to be selfish.